Hello, this is Matthew. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to my book. This is a video chapter about a book that's called 71 Powerful Habits You Can Learn from Self-Publishing 91 Books. It's a really detailed title. This chapter is called Use Candor, Throw Yourself Under a Bus Often. I had uh, I had a friend that I'm not talking to recently. He's become very busy, but he was a successful Christian author, and he wrote books on supernatural subjects. And he was able to leave his job and become a preacher, but his income was replaced by the royalties from his books. So he became a full-time writer. He was able to finance himself from his books, and financing yourself from your books makes you a very successful worker, but you become a full-time writer, and writing becomes your job. If and this man said to me that I really respect. He said he really likes how I've got no hesitation in throwing myself under a bus to make a point. In one of my books, he said he really admires the fact that I have no fear of throwing myself under a bus to make a point. And I had to ask him because that's a colloquialism that's used in the United States, and we don't say that in Australia. I had to ask him what was throwing myself under a bus, because I've never thrown myself under a bus in Australia. I thought that would be a sure way of killing yourself. And so I had to query him, seeing as he was giving me a compliment and feedback on my writing style. I wanted to understand what the compliment meant. And he told me that throwing yourself under a bus is sharing a dirty little secret or a failing in your life or something, self-depreciating, deprecate. I don't know the word. Saying bad things about yourself and bad situations you've been in order to illustrate a point. So making an illustration using a story out of your life, which isn't a flattering story, to make your point. And there's a person who writes a book on, I forget the title, but it's like 7 Laws of Influence. And it's a book on sales and how to influence people and make sales. And one of the laws was the law of candor. And my brother explained it to me because he liked this book. And candor is making a habit of throwing yourself under the bus to, in this instance, to create rapport with people that you wish to sell to. It's something, if used properly, can wield tremendous power and tremendous influence in people's lives. I've always been naturally honest, and some would say too honest and too transparent with people, and that's just my nature. So I was effectively using the law of candor in my writing before I found out that that was the law of influence. And I was naturally throwing myself under a bus, as Americans would say, totally unaware, that's what I was doing, and it garnered respect in the readers. And for a writer that I had a good friendship with when he had time to talk, and I really admire his books and respect his books, and he's a good teacher. To have one of my heroes say what he most liked about my books, a point that I hold really proudly. I'm very proud of my honesty, something I revere in my life. And he was commenting on my honesty and the way I used it to educate people. It really impressed me. And so I thought I would make this one of the chapters in the book and advise you to do it. I realize that I'm going to be covering 71 habits that I've formed in my writing. And I realize that even when you read this book, there's a lot of information to take in, and you have to do things a certain number of times. You've got to have repetition of doing the same thing successfully to form a habit. And so you may read this book and you may feel that you've been tremendously educated, but this is a book that will become a manual for your writing. In the editing stage, you'll be going through this. As you publish your book, you'll be coming back to this book to read once again what I had to say about a certain subject, and you'll be checking that you're doing it right. Well, I think I've covered that point sufficiently, and my time has run out.